let's talk about this job summit. The unemployment figures out today, they're expected to remain pretty good. I mean, stunning, actually, historically stunning. Throughout the campaign, and I'd really argue for at least the better part of 5 years, Labor has been promising, talking uphill and down dale about increasing wages. Looking at the inflation story in the US and here, which is not as bad, but on a similar trajectory, isn't it the case that a big increase in wages, if they were to keep up with inflation, that would push inflation much higher? Do you accept that? Does there need to be a bit of honesty here?
Well, I'd just make two observations about that. Firstly, if you are making a list of the things that are contributing to high inflation and growing prices in the economy, wages wouldn't be on it until you got to the second page at this stage. The war in Ukraine, the impact on supply chains around the world, there are a series of issues there, COVID, a whole lot of shipping issues in our key supply chains are what's driving high prices here, and they're driving them in Europe and the United States. And the Prime Minister has said, though, that lifting wages is a priority for the government, but so is lifting productivity. And that's why this Jobs and Skills Summit's so important. We actually need to work together across workers and unions, the business community, civil society more broadly, and work through what as a country are we going to do together to deal with these issues.
I mean, is this a new accord? Because it seems that business and union aren't quite on the same page just yet.
Well, of course they won't be on the same page. There are different interests there, but there's a lot of interests in common. And there's the Anthony Albanese and the government, is a really strong core view that we've got, that where there's common interests, we should be encouraging Australians to work together, not playing the politics of division. That's what the last government did, and what it led to was a decade of lost opportunities in terms of productivity and a decade of lagging wages and rising costs. And the only way to deal with these questions is to bring the community together and to start mapping out practical solutions to some of those problems.
But migration has got to be part of the story here. How much of the story is it, and how quickly can you get these migrant workers here?
Well, fixing the migration settings, making sure that there's skilled labour here in the industries and sectors of the economy that need it, but also making sure that we've got a plan to give young Australians, particularly school leavers, the skills that they need to be work ready and to be finding these vacancies, and in making sure that they're good jobs for young people to go into. Like let's deal with all of the levers that we need to pull to lift the labour market up to the position that it needs to be to contribute to growing productivity, but also people having the kind of jobs that means that they can build a future. Being able to save for a home, being able to live securely and with dignity. We need to be focusing on working with industry and with unions to create those kind of jobs.
I'm excited for the Job Summit.
Me too.
Hopefully, it's not just another talk fest.
Well, it's going to be a critical opportunity for the government to engage with unions and industry, and it's going to set the tone for how, as a government, we have expectations for everybody to act up. Everybody's got a national responsibility here. The trade union movement, yes, but business has a responsibility here to be part of the conversation about creating good jobs, lifting the skills of the country, making sure that these young people with apprenticeships and traineeships and entry into university that gets them into the labour market with a foothold for a good, decent, secure job.
Looking forward to it, 1st and 2nd of September. Tim Ayres, thanks so much for joining us in the studio.
Thanks, Laura.